In front of him, Lee Ki-young is now covered in broken rocks. And the people in the guild are busy repairing it, leaving him speechless. The audience watching the opening match still hasn't stopped howling. They're praising Reward Yung Hyan. She is truly a genius. The genius mage has appeared. Ms. Yung Hyan, please spare us a few minutes. Ms. Yung Hyan, if you don't like being a guild, you can join our guild. Above the grandstand, who had just finished watching this special opening match, said, Cassina, give me that mage's profile now. Cassina is still busy with work. Just now, she couldn't escape. Her face was as black as the bottom of a pot and said, yes, I understand, tell me the strategy. Because of this strategy, she propped her chin up and said with a smile, this is interesting. Yung Hyan quickly wiped towards Lee Ki-young, always calling out to you, brother. Lee Ki-young spread his hands out gently. Easily called Hyan, but in his mind he was thinking, damn, what should I do with her now? Then he used his mind's eye. When Yung Hyan ran to hug him, the data sheet her magic power appeared. Lee Ki-young thought in amazement, her magic power is already 41. Just a week ago it was 31. The overview is extremely impressive. She is showing off a speed growth as incomprehensible. People say that Lee Ki-young is very lucky, because he only needs to cling to a talented genius like her like a parasite to survive. I also hope that he will never be separated from this girl who is loved by this magic power of nature. And also that you should be careful when looking at other women so as not to get stabbed. Hey, no matter who wrote it this overview, try to get caught by me. Tie it up. I will XXX you. Do you understand? Wait. The way my child will XXX you, but anyway. Including the people in this area only have about 60 to 80 magic power, so how genius is our little girl? The host was shocked by Yung Hyan's power. Now he was lying on the ground trembling and saying, everyone, please follow the procedures, please. Everyone, please return to where you were originally, everyone. The people below seeing the two people Yung Hyan and Lee Ki-young hugging each other passionately. I wondered, what is this? Their relationship is like that. They have no control over the current situation. It always seems to make them really uncomfortable. How strong. This side, Yung Hyan was already hugging Lee Ki-young. She gently called out to him. Lee Ki-young looked down at her and said, sorry, Hyan, you're being so slow, it must be very difficult. She shyly touched her hands and replied, no, it's not difficult at all. She shed tears with a sunny smile and said, but I endured it. It's been a whole week, so it's me, I'll definitely reward you, good. Lee Ki-young's smile became stiff. He thought, I always think like this. But Yung Hyan is very weak and the fact that she can barely change her I'm yours attitude when everyone is staring is also quite an interesting image. Hug immediately looked up and whispered. They must be in a relationship, it seems like that, what the hell? On the contrary, this is a very good thing. Lee Ki-young suddenly held Yung Hyan's small face in his palm and placed a light kiss on her forehead and said, good job Hyan. I love you, and of course this sentence will be said for everyone below to hear. Now such a romantic scene catches the eyes of so many people. Even Kim Hyunsung and Park Deok-gu find it very normal. Lee Ki-young, I've never been as happy as I am right now. I think this is it. The image of the couple cuddling each other cannot be divided. If you want Yung Hyan, then you have to accept me too, that's true. What a beautiful prospect. Lee Ki-young felt like he had achieved a lifetime achievement and was happy to think that our love affair was a great success. Ha 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 ha. But it seemed like Yung Hyan hugged Lee Ki-young too tightly, making Lee Ki-young stiffen. Yung Hyan, blushing, hugged Lee Ki-young even tighter, giggling, Oppa, hee, you can't escape. Lee Ki-young, almost squeezed to death, gasped, let go, Hyan. Enough already. He thought to himself, damn it, I knew this would happen. The romantic pink atmosphere radiating made everyone the shy person change. The host picked up the microphone and continued speaking, then, next will be the new swordsman that everyone is looking forward to. Kim Hyunsung also stood up. And Park Deok-gu saw Yung Hyan and waved and said, welcome back sister-in-law. Yung Hyan responded enthusiastically, and Lee Ki-young looked fiercely helpless. Kim Hyunsung took off his jacket to prepare got down from the rain. The host said, now we will continue with your performance Kim Hyunsung. Kim Hyunsung turned around and said to the three people, let me go. Park Deok-gu I laughed said, see you later. Lee Ki-young also smiled and said, "Good luck Hyunsung." Kim Hyunsung nodded as a response. Lee Ki-young saw that and thought to himself, "Damn, he's so handsome." Waiting for Kim Hyunsung to leave, Park Deokgu, they spoke softly, coughed, asked to look at the second brother and just made me feel like a light bulb or something. "Oh, I also have to move forward and find one for myself." "Just a lover, ah," Lee Ki-young replied coldly. "Forget about it and focus on the match. Hyun, you too." He covered his mouth with his hands and smiled. It will probably be a very anticipated scene. Below the ring, the host said, the performance would be a duel with a skilled swordsman. Lee Ki-young opened his mind's eye to observe Kim Hyun-sung and his opponent. Why, he thought to himself, it's called a duel, but looking at the stats the difference is clear. This is almost a one-on-one training which, of course, our dear retreatant will don't think so. At this time the host said, the countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begins. The opponent unconsciously tensed up when facing Kim Hyun-sung. And Lee Ki-young put his hand under his chin and smiled. As soon as the host finished calling out the first step, the two instinctively rushed to fight. Kim Hyun took out his sword and seriously blocked his sword. Opponent. The other opponent saw that one move still couldn't defeat Kim Hyun-sung, so he increased his strength even more. He silently lamented, "This kid, how can he be so strong?" I just saw Kim Hyun-sung smiling gently below as if nothing had happened. Kim Hyun-sung swung a sword and sent his opponent flying farther. He gritted his teeth and rushed back, then thought, and still. Kim Hyun-sung calmly struck again, this time stronger than the last time. He still blocked Kim Hyun-sung's sword, but he looked at that angular face and exclaimed, "Come on, handsome too, damn." In the stands, Lee Ki-young saw Kim Hyun-sung knock his opponent to the ground. He smiled and thought, good, he is doing very well. Below, Kim Hyun-sung and his opponent were still fighting each other enthusiastically. He thought, honestly, this is the first time seeing him fight so seriously. Even for someone like me who knows nothing about swordsmanship, Hyunsung doesn't look like he's being overwhelmed or nothing. The opponent cried out with one eye and then rushed towards Kim Hyun-sung, who was already in a waiting position. Lee Ki-young saw that but was not at all sad. On the contrary, he thought, thinking, but this was his second time if he wanted to. An opponent like this would be crushed under his feet, but he would shake the stick with his sword to show off his skills, so maybe he just exchanged moves back and forth. The one-eyed guy swung his sword past Kim Hyun-sung, while he remained as calm as ever. Passing a part of the way, the one-eyed guy swallowed his water and looked scared. A sword strike from the one-eyed guy cut Kim Hyun's face, causing his face to bleed. But he was never defeated. Up in the stands, the audience watching the match was excited. Blush, genius. What a genius. Observing their faces, Lee Ki-young came to the conclusion that, but those who learned a little about swordsmanship would be like they saw a swordsmanship genius just born or something like that. You must be surprised really. This is a big mistake to think that Hyun is the only trophy of our team. The real trophy is someone else. Lee Ki-young saw that and immediately laughed, making Young Hyun sitting next to him confused. Below, Kim Hyun-sung swung his sword at the one-eyed man, making him unable to react in time. Kim Hyun-sung kicked away the one-eyed man's sword, causing him to stand still. Lee Ki-young thought again, but it wasn't like he was showing off too much. After knocking away the other guy's sword, Kim Hyun-sung also threw his sword on the ground. His face looked cold and expressionless. Then the one-eyed guy thought it was over. He let out a sigh. Just then, a flying punch hit him right in the face. It was Kim Hyun-sung who threw this punch. He jumped and hit a large rock in front of him, resulting in the one-eyed man's entire body collapsing immediately. As for the rock behind him, it was deeply hollow and cracked. Kim Hyun-sung bent down and saw the situation. In front of him, Lee Ki-young looked pale. Everyone was extremely worried about Kim Hyun-sung. Even a group of people near Lee Jae-hee were sweating profusely. Kim Ji-joon ran to Kim happily. Hyun-sung said, "Hey, are you okay?" "I accidentally." Kim Hyun-sung sighed. He stopped and said, "I lost." Lee Ki-young saw that Kim Hyun-sung had no problem at all and was extremely happy. There was nothing wrong with him. "Yes, this name, you are very good. I knew right away that you could do it." The host's voice rang out. His tone was a bit stuttering. Just now was candidate Yun's performance. Sung, guests, please note that you will be able to meet the candidates after the show ends. Please do not leave your seats. Lee Giyoung is sitting to the side silently praising Kim. Hyunsung, as expected, no matter what, regression is still regression. On the one hand, he skillfully shows off his strengths such as high endurance and flexibility, and on the other hand, he avoids revealing his true strength. He is a person who knows how to move forward and know how to retreat. It's admirable. He doesn't even shed a drop of sweat. If that were the case, Hyun would be rated one level higher, but for big protectors, the body part Hyunsung's recent performance was enough to make them rush to recruit him, whispers rang out. Kim Hyunsung walked back to the host to announce, followed by the performance. From candidate Park Deok-gu, since ancient times, soldiers and medics have always been important elements in a team. Respectfully introducing the golden shield of the raid team, Shieldman Park Deok-gu. When Park Deok-gu heard the person introduce his name, he immediately stood up and told everyone, "I was so nervous." Park Deok-gu immediately gave the three of them a like button. Suddenly, before he could prepare anything, Park Deok-gu was immediately punched in the face. Turns out, the owner of this punch was none other than a monkey. Monster, the host announced, "You are witnessing, this performance's main purpose is to test endurance. Candidates will ask if they can withstand the monster's powerful attacks. The other training animal for 3 minutes. To ensure safety, we have kept the monster's legs. Please rest assured, after the demonstration ends, candidate Park Deok-gu will be treated by the doctors." The doctor treated him immediately. Park Deok-gu was suddenly attacked and quickly raised his shield to avoid the attack. Although the monster was held by a chain, its strength was not reduced at all. Park Deok-gu continued. Continuously being punched from left to right, from top to bottom, Lee Giyoung found it painful. "I know he's tough, but isn't this a bit too much?" Park Deok-gu sighed and rushed forward. The monster was also breathing heavily. One monster rushed straight at each other. Park Deok-gu used his shield in front of him. Both stabbed together and then lay down on the ground, breathing like he had never breathed before. Park Deok-gu raised his hand towards the monster and praised, "Hey, that was a good fight, brother." The monster also happily responded. Both of them punched each other. Everyone in the audience found this scene extremely touching. Only Lee Giyoung found it a bit strange. "Oh hello. What kind of love and affection is that?" "The match is over," the host said. "What a great performance, thank you, and next will be the performance of candidate Lee Giyoung." Kim Hyunsung also had fun with Hyun looking at Giyoung. "Good luck Giyoung, everyone will cheer for you, fighting, good luck." Park Deok-gu returned to his seat in the stands to cheer. "It's your turn. I believe you can do it, keep fighting." Lee Giyoung happily looked at them. They were so enthusiastic. I also cheered up a bit. "Thank you everyone. Thank you Hyunsung, I'm going." The announcer introduced, "Candidate Giyoung is an alchemist rarely seen in teams. We are eager to witness this candidate's skills. Mr. Lee Giyoung, please signal us when you are ready." "Yes, let the performance begin." Lee Giyoung walked up to the stage and waved to everyone. He thought, "This is the first time I've fought with the alchemist profession, but I didn't. Why do we need to create a highlight? The leaders of the Lamb Guild already have mastered my skills. Those guys even said that the catalyst is very expensive and they can't lend it to me anymore. Those bastards clearly understand that. Clearly wanted to trip me up. Luckily I asked Park Deok-gu to find me a wooden stick." Lee Giyoung started reciting the incantation, "Oh almighty beings, please, answer my request." The magic circle appeared. Giyoung held the wooden stick and touched the magic circle. Lee Giyoung thought with worry, "I'm dead, it doesn't work. Really alchemy is basically reciprocity with me. It requires more stamina than mana," Giyoung said loudly, quickly. Right after that, a blue light radiated. From the magic circle, a blue tornado appeared rising high. Everyone was extremely surprised by Giyoung's performance. He stood looking at the whirlwind and thought, he must admire his performance considering he used blue magic because he was a member of that blue guild. The ending also looks crazy. The snail rushes towards the stick, looks quite like a scarecrow. In just a moment it catches fire, disappears into smoke. Lee Giyoung is full of confidence. "That's right, using fake bracelets the needle definitely creates a better magic spread effect. It seems to be more powerful than my regular fireball, but it's difficult. I won't be able to use this in a real battle, damn. I need to hurry up and develop another ingredient or something like that. At the end of the performance, Giyoung bowed solemnly to everyone. The host praised, "Thanks to you hard work that all the demonstrations have been completed. I have asked the valuable guests to remain seated and follow the necessary procedures." Lee Giyoung moves forward to the front, the joy of his teammates. The cheers rang out in shock. Giyoung hated it. "It's here, there's nothing to be afraid of. Guys, everything is going according to plan. Just entrust your body, my body gives me the melody." Everyone is attracting Lee Giyoung's group to their federation. The arguments are extremely heated. "Ms. Young Hyun, please come to our federation. Mr. Kim Hyunsung, we are recruiting swordsmen. Would you like to take a moment? Mr. Park Deokgu, we are a bodybuilder. Let's work on our muscles together. Hey, quickly bring Young Hyun and Kim Hyunsung back here. Lee Giyoung, he looks like he will be an explosive mystery factor, that's it. I should take him back here, right now." Lee Giyoung is angry when he witnesses this scene. "You all have to believe in me." Someone can't help but bid, "Mr. Lee Giyoung, if you join our guild, we will give you 2,000 gold coins as a contract fee." Giyoung seems to have gotten his wish. "What here? We have 2,000. Everyone is determined. So we give you 3,000, others 4,500, plus 6,000. Lee Giyoung crossed his arms and leisurely looked at them. Wow, worth thinking about. From those who always try to win against him. From those people who always give me orders, my god. Everything can change in an instant. Everyone is arguing like crazy. Are you guys doing that? I told you to bring Lee Giyoung back here immediately. Mr. Lee Giyoung, please come back to our team. Along with Ms. Young Hyun. Mr. Lee Giyoung, this is our business card. Can I talk to you and Ms. Young Hyun for a moment? Ms. Young Hyun, Mr. Lee Giyoung, you two are really a beautiful couple. If you join our association together, we will. Hey, don't push. Hyun looks quite confused and awkward. But Lee Giyoung couldn't hide it and chuckled inside. Ha ha, that's it, this. What a beautiful sight. Lee Solho and Lee Jihexa frowned. Looking at Lee Giyoung's body was like big star in the world, warmly welcomed. Lee Giyoung seems to have achieved his goal. His eyes are full of cold ears. Dear Lam Hoi. Do I look like an idiot now? What would you do if you knew that I, the party's explosive mystery man, prefer sweeter fruits? What a delusion, you all think you can have us without me, especially at the price that the person initially negotiated. Suddenly a girl with red hair rushed forward, pushed everyone away, and attacked Lee Giyoung, making everyone extremely surprised. That girl pushed Lee Giyoung to the ground, his face turned pale and his whole body trembled. Cha-hira said, hello, cute baby, should we talk a bit, I and you? Lee Giyoung cursed under his breath. What? Who is this damn woman? Lee Giyoung was pushed down, his face turned pale, his whole body trembled. Hyun quickly supported him. Lee Giyoung could only curse silently. Damn, what kind of power is that? I thought I was going to die. Damn, is she part of a large guild? Lee Giyoung didn't think much anymore and used his mind's eye on that girl. The display system was checking the parameters and development threshold of the Cha-hira player. A moment later, the scoreboard full history of the girl who appeared before Lee Giyoung's eyes. Age 28, predisposition, person who changes in unpredictable ways. Pre-karma, mercenary queen is a legendary type. Pre-karma effect is achieved: gain high-level knowledge of weapons, gain high-level knowledge of two-handed weapons, gain knowledge of high-level magical manipulation. Title of Bloodthirsty Lady, Red Mercenary, Red Crazy Lady, Blood of the Noble Empire. Father Hira's stats are as follows. Strength is 97, which is legendary type. Hero types include physical strength 85, endurance 90, magic power 82, agility 82. Rare type including luck 56, intelligence 67. After reading it, Lee Giyoung had to gasp. This person, what are these monster-like parameters? Neo 97 power. She is the strongest out of everyone I have ever met. Is she a monster or what? And what's with the title and that bias? I don't like things that I can't control at all. Lady VIP, where did you come from? But the key information about Father Hira is that he is a bloodthirsty lady and a person who changes in unpredictable ways. Father Hira looks around and laments, "Aw, man, look what I did again. How disrespectful is this? When I was going up, I just rushed forward without thinking at all." Cha-hira introduced himself. Mr. Lee Ki-young and Ms. Young Hyun, right? It was truly a joy to enjoy your flying performance. I am the president of the Red Mercenary Guild, one of the 3 largest guilds in the Sacred Empire. Father Hira is pleased to meet you." After speaking, he reached out his hand to Ki-young. Lee Ki-young suddenly became extremely happy and excited. One of the 3 biggest guilds, suddenly, she looked like a saint, just like I thought. Well, it's really good that I stick close to Hyun's side. Lee Ki-young reached out his hand to respond. His attitude changed 180 degrees compared to a few seconds ago. "Ah, yes, nice to meet you. My name is Lee Ki-young, please." Before he could finish speaking, Hyun's eyes suddenly darkened. Again, Ki-young didn't understand what was wrong with her. Hyun whispered to Lee Ki-young, "Don't shake that person's hand, you. That person is very strange. Her clothes are also strange. Before, she even tried to kill us. Brother, please." Lee Ki-young's hand suddenly trembled extremely. He thought to himself, "It's just a handshake, it's okay, right? She is a red-headed character. If I make a bad impression on her, it will be very bad." In the end, Lee Ki-young still decided to shake hands. "Please guide me further." When Hyun, while being surprised, Cha Hira immediately approached and extended his hand. "Nice to meet you too, Ms. Hyun." Hyun looked like she was about to explode with anger. Lee Ki-young quickly blocked her and Cha Hira. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Hyun here has a pretty serious fear of strangers." Cha Hira suddenly offered a price, an extremely shocking number. The people who bid first are worth nothing. The number she paid them was $2 million. Each person had the same price of $2 million. The salary was $500,000. What do you think? Kim Hyunsung was also extremely surprised. Lee Ki-young calculated in his mind, $2 million, according to the exchange rate in this world, is about 20,000 gold, compared to the amount that the Blue Guild initially proposed. For us it's 1.5000 gold, which is $150,000. Lee Ki-young looked towards Kim Hyunsung to see his expression. Seeing Ki-young, he immediately understood. "Hyunsung, we can't go there. Okay, that's not it, still regretful, but even so, $2 million per person is really a huge number. For me, it's 15 times better than the blue side, so for now, it was only natural for me to hear what she said." Cha Hira spoke up, "Looking at your expression, you seem extremely satisfied with this price. How lovely. Hearing the name, as you probably know, our Red Warrior Guild is a guild that focuses on close combat. You newcomers probably already know, but here, the monks are too talented that can use high-level magic as precious land. So the executives at my guild are constantly nagging me to be more proactive in cultivating magic, you see." Lee Ki-young asked, "Sorry, so you want to change things up a bit?" Cha Hira: "Bingo, to be honest, that's why when I came here today I didn't expect much, but by chance there was talents like Ms. Hyun and Mr. Ki-young appear before me. You may be an alchemist, but it's still a magic profession. Moreover, you can heal like a monk. It's okay to be a monk, so I think the two of you are the perfect talent for our offer." Cha Hira's attitude is completely different from the Blue Guild, Ki-young recalls. The words of Lee Jae-hee, an alchemist. I see, we can only give out a maximum of 1,500, that's it, just try harder." Lee Ki-young is silently praying, "Right, I also think so, Hyunsung. Let's think about this one more time. No matter how we dissect it, it's clear that with blue we are already trash. It's not too late so let's go fight." Father Hira suddenly said a shocking information. "However, this suggestion of mine is only for those with magical professions. Our guild at this time, I'm already overloaded with close combat fighters. Even though having to let go of talented people like Kim Hyunsung here still pains me a lot." Lee Ki-young is a bit suspicious. "Wait a minute. What, does it mean that in exchange for my value increasing 15 times and being next to Hyun, that means I have to put Hyunsung and Deokgu aside?" Cha Hira said frankly. "So, it's really difficult we also want everyone else to come along. So we just want Ms. Hyun and Mr. Ki-young to only harm people, is that possible?" Ki-young replied to Cha Hira, "That was a very interesting project." Park Deokgu and Kim Hyunsung called Ki-young's name. Cha Hira was confused. I couldn't tell if he was telling the truth or not. Ki-young's tone was full of sincerity. "I was being very honest. I was also very happy to hear her offer such conditions. It's just," Hyun was trembling next to Lee Ki-young. Park Deokgu also worriedly said, "Brother, what are you talking about? Indispensable Kim Hyunsung, Giyoung. Hyun and Lee Giyoung are full of thoughts. Honestly, I understand Cha-hira's background. She herself is the perfect sword and shield. First of all, if I were her, I would also put more energy into nurturing magicians like Hyun instead of melee warriors. However, Lee Giyoung hugged Hyun and spoke out loud to Deokgu and Hyunsung. We became closer while completing the tutorial. If we can't accept the four of us at the same time, then it's a shame. I can't accept it, sorry. You two, they secretly breathed in relief. Deokgu felt tears in his eyes. Brother, why are you so afraid of someone like that? Really, looking at the two of them, Lee Giyoung thought, it was a bit embarrassing, but a regressor wasn't something that could be bought for $2 million. Moreover, how could Hyunsung think that he could trade with his stupidity? Father Hira chuckled when he heard the answer. Interesting, you pretended to be very interested, but then turned around, and I don't see you as the type of person who is easily attracted to such things. My principles, I don't try to change anyone's mind once they've changed their mind, but this time it's really embarrassing, especially you, Lee Giyoung. Your face is not my type, do you know yet? Father Hira grabbed Giyoung's face and turned his eyes to Hyun and said, this genius mage lady should learn to control her bloodlust, right? Look closely, little one. Look closely at what will happen to your precious things if you defeat me. Things won't turn out as Giyoung thought. Wait a minute, mother, everyone, what are these sudden events? He said. He ignored it. While speaking, he was interrupted by Cha-hira. This was her punishment. Cha-hira came closer and kissed Lee Giyoung. His face turned pale. Haean was no worse than him. Giyoung trembled and whispered, this woman is crazy. Haean is still standing there. Haean is here. Save Haean, who is watching. Damn. Lee Giyoung wanted to push away, but he couldn't move. Tears flowed. Hyun, please understand me. This was just an accident. Hyun covered his face and screamed. Deokgu also did the same thing as Hyun. After a while, Cha-hira left out. After being released, Lee Giyoung collapsed to the ground. Damn it. Cha-hira was extremely satisfied and said, okay. I intended to play with you a little longer, but I was still out of control with my bloodlust. I won't let it go like that again. I'll reconsider my behavior. Lee Giyoung was upset. Am I her toy? How could she do that in front of Hyun? Who knows what she will do? Wait, why is she so quiet? Because this is so surprising? Lee Giyoung wiped his mouth over and over again. I've got to get it sorted. Everything's gone crazy. Suddenly he noticed a glowing crystal necklace around his neck. This damn letter is what? Cha-hira seemed to read Lee Giyoung's mind and immediately said, it's mine. Okay. Next time we meet again, baby. Cha-hira smiled happily and left. Lee Giyoung held the necklace in hand. It displays a rare type of energy pendant, possessing the power to increase any person's magical power, while also amplifying that person's magical influence. Location excavation is currently unknown. Energy increased by 3. Lee Giyoung felt that this gift was not so bad. Giyoung thought, of course, I am still a teenager full of confusion, but I noticed that she still gave me gifts even when I refused to negotiate. I almost wanted to call her sister, but at least I didn't leave a bad impression in people's eyes. But before that, I had to quickly put this in your pocket before Hyun notices. Next, go and stabilize things here. Lee Giyoung's group left. He apologized profusely to everyone. He was sorry for causing the mess this time. There's nothing to worry about, we're going to leave now. Over here. Everyone saw that Lee Giyoung's group left without leaving the trail. Wait a minute, Mr. Lee Giyoung. Mr. Lee Giyoung, if you don't feel sad, please come to our association. Lee Giyoung lamented. My God, my life. Having to greet each person like this is really tiring. But each of them is a customer. Precious potential, I can't treat you right. There are people who haven't given up yet. This is a great way to prove it. I have a feeling you will be a pure cool breeze that will changing society's attitude towards alchemists. Giyoung hates it. What the hell is fun? But the alchemy on his face is very strange. On the surface, Lee Giyoung answered everyone happily. Thank you everyone. I'm a bit shy because I've never made many comparisons like this with others. Yes, I will try my best to be as close as possible when the two of us can. Some even say, Mr. Lee Giyoung doesn't care where you choose to go. I want to maintain a good relationship between both of us. Giyoung came to shake everyone's hands under Deokgu's anger. Deokgu is upset now. Really, look at her like an animal. I mean that woman. She has never argued with us. It's really frustrating, don't you think? Park Deok-gu urged Kim Yun-sung, come on, say something. Kim Yun-sung thought for a moment, maybe this isn't a bad thing. Park Deok-gu doesn't accept this answer, he's talking nonsense. What kid, what do you know about this world? Kim Yun-sung said, it's just my intuition. Park Deok-gu was so angry, he felt so much pain, really, she's like a monster, that's the thing. Kim Yun-sung was startled and asked again, what, you said that girl just now? She still dares to cause trouble with you, oh my god, I'm so helpless, don't you think? But in response to his words was Kim Yun-sung's silence, because he was forever looking at Lee Ki-young. Come on, say something, he said impatiently. He stared forward for a moment. Sometimes, thinking about something that no one knows. Why do you hesitate to speak? Maybe, it's not a bad thing. What nonsense are you talking about? How do you know? Park Deok-gu, after listening, he became even more angry. He was too blunt and in an unconvinced mood. Kim Yun-sung just smiled faintly and said, it's just my intuition. Of course Lee Ki-young himself found out. He took it upon himself to I have a guess in my head, to be honest. First of all, from his perspective, I'm sure that even if I refuse to join the Red Mercenary Association, keeping in touch with Father Hira isn't necessarily a bad thing. Having an small accident, but her father Hira is one of the strongest people in the country. Thinking about it that way, I should really be grateful. If the price of making enemies with the leader of such a large guild is my lips, I was let go quite easily. But what is wrong with Hyun? She makes me so worried. Hyun's mind is dull right now. Her whole body radiates a murderous aura that makes Park Deok-gu blush. I was scared and quickly shook myself. Are you okay? She suddenly woke up and was startled. What happened? I'm fine. Oh my god. She must have been so shocked. Suddenly, a group of people wearing Lam Hoi uniforms approached. He looked at them. Already guessed their identities. The one taking the lead was the vice president of the Lam Association. She hesitantly called his name. He was shy and interrupted her words. Have you thought about changing the terms of the contract at all? Watching their contorted expressions is truly an elegant pleasure. They probably also realized that those terms were strange from the start. They would definitely think so. Especially when they saw the difference between when we were with them for more than a week and today's negotiation. During the meal, everyone was really shy, combined with many not so good things. The deputy Lam Hoi's face seemed to turn pale. He obviously thought that Lee Ki-young's status in Kim Hung-sung's clan was higher than he expected. Hyun was easy to guess, but now they will realize that Lee Ki-young's words have a lot of weight in Hung-sung's heart. Who is always the clan leader? Lee Jae-hee hesitantly replied, oh, about that. Can we go inside and talk a little more? I think we need to discuss more about the contract conditions. Of course, Ms. Lee, I'm always willing, you replied very warmly. Then go back and tell your teammates, then I'll go. At that moment, Hyun followed Yun-sung back first. Hyun's emotions were completely blank at this moment, his eyes were expressionless, his mouth answered instinctively, okay. He looked at her a little worried. Maybe think about how to handle this situation rather than leaving it too unstable. In the immediate future, it will be resolved after negotiations are completed. So he went and stood in front of everyone at the conference. Of Deputy Lam Hoi, he was mentally prepared to see how much we would raise before he was satisfied. Ms. Lee, facing the concerns of all the elders, spoke first. First of all, the contract fee is 10,000 gold and an annual income of 5,000 gold. And we will provide new hero-level weapons, rare-level armor and accessories. Hearing that made him want to laugh out loud. But I had to keep my mouth shut, the timing wasn't right and I couldn't press my lips. It's true that I was only thinking about the scene where the main character confronts the villain in Death Note. Ms. Lee continued talking, plus also, we will build a smelting furnace just for you, Mr. Lee. Yes, that sounds very reasonable. Is there anything else? Also, we will proportionally divide the products obtained in dungeons and hunting grounds, and of course we will make you have your tools upgraded and repaired for free by the professional blacksmith and the guild. Lee Ki-young really wants to ask what's in his heart. His head is really like that. Is that all? That's it, Lam Hoi. Really, that's it. Is that all? Are your abilities only that much? You say you are the leading pioneer guild. I asked to see how high your class is and this is that what you guys have. In the end, Ms. Lee made a final decision. We can also extend the contract for another 3 years. Seeing that you still didn't say anything, she had to make the final decision. Okay, well, in that case it's just you. Instead of adding you to a new clan, I allow you to form a new independent team. Just this sentence, the closer you get to your goal. My heart is blooming, that's right, just a little more. The authority of the clan leader will be like the leader of our management team. The more you talk, the wider your smile becomes, just a little more. And even though you are new, we will completely delegate the clan management decisions to the clan leader. A little more, a little more, a little more. We will restructure the management team into non-fighting member. That's right, that's good, that's right, that's great, just a little more. Her face turned red, then she raised her voice and shouted loudly. Then she would recommend Mr. Lee Giyoung became the captain of the non-combat management team. Oh, that's great, that's right, very accurate, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Lee Giyoung is smiling like a pervert right now. His mouth can't handle it. He stopped laughing because his plan was successful, his eyes sparkled. Suddenly, the old man sitting next to him could no longer stand his impudence and encroachment. Immediately stood up and took out his stick. A strong stream of energy. Lee Giyoung suddenly felt nauseous, felt like his mana was running out, bloodthirsty, unable to breathe. The old man kept cursing, this bastard, a guy with only a human tongue dares to. Ms. Lee quickly stood up to question, are you crazy, stop right away. At this point, he thought maybe he had gone too far. The shouting breathing became more and more difficult, the oxygen seemed to be depleted in an instant. His face was as green as a banana leaf with curses. How dare you manipulate us? Team leader Lee Solho, that kid dares to touch the Almighty. He vaguely heard the word team leader. Now he remembered that he had heard about it in the past, his position. That son of a bitch is the leader of the management team. And this damn stagnant guy, doesn't he want to share his position with me? You keep an eye out, I need to teach a lesson. Lee Solho still doesn't know when to stop and continues to use his power stick. You bastard, you're making everything chaotic. Do you think we want to invest in you? Lee Jae-hee was so angry. Lee Solho, this is a request, withdraw your energy. Immediately, the person next to her also worriedly said, Team leader Lee will be in trouble if other groups hear or see this as it, please take it back. He's still pretending to pay, there's no need for that everyone. All I need to do is eliminate him without anyone knowing at any cost. Lee Giyoung was furious. The veins in his hands were tingling, swearing in his heart, this old crazy old man too. He issued a challenge, let's try. Everyone was immediately surprised, all eyes were on him, but he had no intention of taking back those words. He also gave him a challenging look, try it, crazy man, try killing me and see if you can do it. Lee Solho was silent for a moment but decided to rush after the attack, mocking, thinking I couldn't do it. His whole body felt like he was exhausted at this point. But still screaming loudly, my sister Hira would you mind if you killed me? If Father Hira saw this scene, he would definitely burst out laughing. The other guy was startled and stammered after hearing this. What are you talking about? It can't be Hira. The mercenary queen, he smirked, wiped the sweat from his face, confidently crossed his arms and replied, that's right. Mercenary Queen Cha Hira, that's my sister. What, now I can breathe normally again. This damn old-fashioned guy, seeing him suddenly soften when mentioning Father Hira. Her influence on this continent is more terrible than I thought. This time, you grasping the upper hand, he glanced lightly and replied, of course she is not my blood relative, it's just that between me and Mrs. Hira there is another special relationship. You see, Mrs. Hira is very funny, the other day she even said she missed me and even gave me a gift. It was quite shocking. Our sister Hira is the best, he thought to himself. As soon as the words fell, everyone whispered loudly in confusion. Whispering to each other, the other guy trembled in fear but still tried to scream. You just said some nonsense. How could you? Stop making up lies. How could you, with that wonderful mercenary queen, ridiculous really laugh? Whether it's meaningless or not, you just stay there waiting to die. Nonchalantly, you yourself see it's clearly meaningless. You don't even know who she is. The two of you just met for the first time yesterday. But one thing he dares to confirm is that Father Hira is really strong. Strong enough to crush everyone one by one. Besides, I'm different from your eyes, not to show off. Everyone has seen us. Proof that she and I are quite close. These words are like hitting the old man's ears. Even so, I ask if there is any difference between you and the mercenary queen. What kind of relationship? Please give me a more convincing answer. Whether she and I know each other or not, it is true that we are in contact, so of course I will use her from now on now." He smirked and replied, "Probably because he's old but he doesn't really understand anything, doesn't he need to know? It's a private matter for us. Those who have changed from friends to lovers. The important thing is that Lam Hoi, who holds the negotiating rights this time, is threatened by a powerful newcomer, and he cannot let the public know about this. How can he? Now, if Hira finds out about what happened today, then Lam Hoi will be in big trouble," he said in a sarcastic and mocking voice. "It's true that the dog that is the most scared will bark the loudest." He looked at him with eyes of contempt that reached the bottom of society. The one taking the lead was the vice president of the Lam Association. She hesitantly called his name. He was shy and interrupted her words. "Have you thought about changing the terms of the contract at all?" Watching their contorted expressions is truly an elegant pleasure. They probably also realized that those terms were strange from the start. They would definitely think so, especially when they saw the difference between when we were with them for more than a week and today's negotiation. During the meal, everyone was really shy, combined with many not so good things. The deputy Lam Hoi's face seemed to turn pale. He obviously thought that Lee Ki-young's status in Kim Yun-sung's clan was higher than he expected. Hyun was easy to guess, but now they will realize that Lee Ki-young's words have a lot of weight in Yun-sung's heart. "Who is always the clan leader?" Lee Jae-hee hesitantly replied, "Oh, about that. Can we go inside and talk a little more? I think we need to discuss more about the contract conditions." "Of course, Ms. Lee. I'm always willing," you replied very warmly. "Then go back and tell your teammates, then I'll go." At that moment, Hyun followed Yun-sung back first. Hyun's emotions were completely blank at this moment. His eyes were expressionless, his mouth answered instinctively, "Okay." He looked at her a little worried. Maybe think about how to handle this situation rather than leaving it too unstable. In the immediate future, it will be resolved after negotiations are completed. So he went and stood in front of everyone at the conference. Of Deputy Lam Hoi, he was mentally prepared to see how much we would raise before he was satisfied. Ms. Lee, facing the concerns of all the elders, spoke first. "First of all, the contract fee is 10,000 gold and an annual income of 5,000 gold. And we will provide new hero-level weapons, rare-level armor and accessories." Hearing that made him want to laugh out loud. But I had to keep my mouth shut. The timing wasn't right and I couldn't press my lips. It's true that I was only thinking about the scene where the main character confronts the villain in Death Note. Ms. Lee continued talking, "Plus also, we will build a smelting furnace just for you, Mr. Lee." "Yes, that sounds very reasonable. Is there anything else?" "Also, we will proportionally divide the products obtained in dungeons and hunting grounds, and of course we will make you have your tools upgraded and repaired for free by the professional blacksmith and the guild." Lee Ki-young really wants to ask what's in his heart. His head is really like that. Is that all? That's it, Lam Hoi. Really, that's it? Is that all? Are your abilities only that much? You say you are the leading pioneer guild. I asked to see how high your class is and this is that what you guys have. In the end, Ms. Lee made a final decision. We can also extend the contract for another 3 years. Seeing that you still didn't say anything, she had to make the final decision. Okay, well, in that case it's just you. Instead of adding you to a new clan, I allow you to form a new independent team. Just this sentence, the closer you get to your goal. My heart is blooming, that's right, just a little more. The authority of the clan leader will be like the leader of our management team. The more you talk, the wider your smile becomes, just a little more. And even though you are new, we will completely delegate the clan management decisions to the clan leader. A little more, a little more, a little more. We will restructure the management team into non-fighting member. That's right, that's good, that's right, that's great, just a little more. Her face turned red, then she raised her voice and shouted loudly. Then she would recommend Mr. Lee Ki-young became the captain of the non-combat management team. Oh, that's great, that's right, very accurate, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Lee Ki-young is smiling like a pervert right now. His mouth can't handle it. He stopped laughing because his plan was successful, his eyes sparkled. Suddenly, the old man sitting next to him could no longer stand his impudence and encroachment. Immediately stood up and took out his stick. A strong lightning bolt of energy. Lee Ki-young suddenly felt nauseous, felt like his mana was running low. Bloodthirsty, unable to breathe. The old man kept cursing, "This bastard, a guy with only a human tongue dares to." Ms. Lee quickly stood up to question, "Are you crazy? Stop right away." At this point, he thought maybe he had gone too far. The shouting breathing became more and more difficult, the oxygen seemed to be depleted in an instant. His face was as green as a banana leaf with curses. "How dare you manipulate us? Team leader Lee Solho, that kid dares to touch the Almighty." He vaguely heard the word team leader. Now he remembered that he had heard about it in the past, his position. That son of a bitch is the leader of the management team. And this damn stagnant guy, doesn't he want to share his position with me? You keep an eye out, I need to teach a lesson. Lee Solho still doesn't know when to stop and continues to use his power stick. "You bastard, you're making everything chaotic. Do you think we want to invest in you?" Lee Jae-hee was so angry. "Lee Solho, this is a request, withdraw your energy." Immediately, the person next to her also worriedly said, "Team leader Lee will be in trouble if other groups hear or see this as it, please take it back." "He's still pretending to pay, there's no need for that everyone. All I need to do is eliminate him without anyone knowing at any cost." Lee Giyoung was furious. The veins in his hands were swollen, he was cursing in his heart. This crazy backward old man too. He issued a challenge, "Let's try." Everyone was immediately surprised. All eyes were on him, but he had no intention of taking back those words. He also gave him a challenging look. "Try it, crazy man, try killing me and see if you can do it." Lee Solho was silent for a moment but decided to rush after the attack, mocking, "Thinking I couldn't do it." His whole body felt like he was exhausted at this point. But still screaming loudly, "My sister Hira will let. Would you mind if you killed me?" If Father Hira saw this scene, he would definitely burst out laughing. The other guy was startled and stammered after hearing this. "What are you talking about? It can't be Hira." The mercenary queen, he smirked, wiped the sweat from his face, confidently crossed his arms and replied, "That's right. Mercenary Queen Cha Hira, that's my sister." "What, now I can breathe normally again." This damn old-fashioned guy, seeing him suddenly soften when mentioning Father Hira. "Her influence on this continent is more terrible than I thought. This time, you grasping the upper hand." He glanced lightly and replied, "Of course she is not my blood relative, it's just that between me and Mrs. Hira there is another special relationship. You see, Mrs. Hira is very funny. The other day she even said she missed me and even gave me a gift. It was quite shocking. Our sister Hira is the best," he thought to himself. As soon as the words fell, everyone whispered loudly in confusion. Whispering to each other, the other guy trembled in fear but still tried to scream, "You just said some nonsense. How could you? Stop making up lies. How could you, with that wonderful mercenary queen? Ridiculous, really laugh. Whether it's meaningless or not, you just stay there waiting to die." Nonchalantly, "You yourself find it clearly meaningless. You don't even know who she is. The two of you just met for the first time yesterday. But one thing he dares to confirm is that Father Hira is really strong. Strong enough to crush everyone one by one. Besides, I'm different from your eyes, not to show off. Everyone has seen us. Proof that she and I are quite close." This statement seems to hit the old man's ears. "Even so, I ask if there is any difference between you and the mercenary queen. What kind of relationship? Please give me a more convincing answer. Whether she and I know each other or not, it is true that we are in contact, so of course I will use her from now on." Now, he smirked and replied, "Probably because he's old but he doesn't really understand anything. Doesn't he need to know? It's a private matter for us, those who have changed from friends to lovers. The important thing is that Lam Hoi, who holds the negotiating rights this time, is threatened by a powerful newcomer, and he cannot let the public know about this. How can he? Now, if Hira finds out about what happened today, then Lam Hoi will be in big trouble," he said in a sarcastic and mocking voice. "It's true that the dog that is the most scared will bark the loudest." He looked at him with eyes of contempt that reached the bottom of society. "Yes, Lee Giyoung, please take care. Yes, little by little cannot feel the hurt deep in your heart." Lee Giyoung turned away. "Yes, that's what the vice president is thinking, repent and apologize. Then what should I have done to help him more? I will definitely never let this happen again." This is exactly the expression you were really hoping for. Whatever the reason, it will haunt your mind forever. Lee Sang-hee, it's best for you to continue feeling sorry for me. You went out for a while before revealing a triumphant smile. It's really easy to take advantage of other people's kindness. Pity the girl who was tricked into life so easily. He now has to move fast forward to make the absurd thing come true, otherwise he'll ruin his whole family. When he returns to his teammates and talked, Kim Hyunsung was surprised and asked again, "Are you talking about the Red Mercenaries? Why is it natural?" He quickly replied, "I have something to discuss with the captain of the Red Mercenaries. You mean Father Hira, right?" Young Hyan's face turned pale. He stood up in fear. "Don't go. I can't go, Oppa." Park Deokgu was equally confused. "He and I were both here but going to the woman who took away my life." "You don't understand anything. You have a headache," and reply, "What are you guys talking about? It's not like that. I'm just trying my best to help the state. Can I ask why?" Kim Hyun-sung continued. He grinned and replied, "I think it would be great if someone protected us. I will give you more information after I finish thinking." He nodded. "Look, that cheerful face of his made you even more excited. Knowing his intentions, do you like that? Do you want your brother to make peace with the mercenary guild captain for you? What a lovely boy." Only Young Hyan couldn't keep calm anymore. She cried. This time he realized that he hadn't finished dealing with Young Hyan yet. She just stammering and babbling, "I can't go. I can't go. I abandoned you to be with that girl. I don't want to. I'm so stupid. There's no way I would do that." He sighed in his head. "It would be better if someone gave me a manual on how to use Young Hyan or something like that. I thought I knew Young Hyan better than anyone else. How could I handle it? This matter, so that even when I'm reckless, the good news that I handled it smoothly is spread. Comforting her recently has no effect anymore. Even if I complain, it still means nothing. No. This matter is extremely important to the guild. No, actually to me. If I'm found loitering here, I'll be in danger." He worriedly looked at her, calling her name, but there was still no response. He had to tell his teammates. He would leave immediately after talking to Young Hyan. Even though he was ashamed, Young Hyan didn't have the ability to protect him right now. He didn't need to. Army, but the government is there. No, actually, the government is the current necessity, and you don't have it, so now I'm going to get it, do you see? Both nodded in agreement. "Yes, take care. Young Hyan too. Yes, if anything happens, just let me know. Whatever benefits you will benefit me." Young Hyan and the three will understand. So why don't you understand? He thought about it for a long time and didn't understand the reason. But usually, she would blush and talk as if she were on a date. It seemed like Father Hira's problem was a real shock to her. He just opened his mouth. "Young Hyan, don't worry too much," she immediately interrupted. "Please don't go. Nothing will happen. Then take me with you. Go alone." He hesitated for a moment, thinking in his head, thinking carefully. The two of them haven't really talked to each other much lately. During the magic training, they were both really excited. "I'm sure it's her. I'm so lonely. It's better to go for a walk like this and follow her." Just when he thought everything would go smoothly like that, he felt a dark aura around. The little girl suddenly rushed towards him, sobbing like a child, screaming loudly, "Don't go. Seriously, do you want me to go crazy or something?" She talked so continuously that she didn't let him say a word. He refused to listen to anything. If someone said something, he should obediently listen to them. Gradually the strength and energy from her became more and more, radiating more and more gloomy. No longer crying but more like threatening. "Please, don't throw me away. Please, really don't go. If you go, what is it? You idiot, you're so stupid, you know that? Anyway, use this method on him." "But it seems like a good idea," she muttered to herself, making his spine suddenly stand up. "I used the wrong method, damn it. For some reason I got goosebumps. Just like I thought, this would be the best way for Young Hyan." While she was still talking, her lifeless eyes were white and murderous. "It was all because of you. You stupid thing, but right? It's all because of you that he will definitely like it very much." He suddenly pushed her against the wall. His tall body made her suddenly feel dumbfounded and startled her. Her face gradually turned red like a girl who just fell in love. Her heart pounded, her gentle voice returned to normal. "Honey, look, she's back, just like you, I guess. Actually, I wanted to develop a more pure and romantic relationship with Young Hyan, but..." He smiled evilly and decided to use the voice cards to whisper into her hand, "Honey." Young Hyan. Your words made her shy, embarrassed, stuttering, speechless. "So there was never a chance that you would throw me away? Why should I do that? I will get everything." He laughed in his heart. After all, he had already planned it since the day he arranged everything. She will be a good card for this plan. She shyly continued. Kept calling, "Brother," he still cooed softly, holding his hair. I love you Yung Hyun. You see, I don't have to choose between a legendary level mage, top 3 guild master, fake regression or defense because you will have it all. From the beginning the person who should be worried about being thrown away is not you but me. Of course you will hide this thought in your heart, not open it up. You need to reveal your innocent, pure face to attract people towards you. As expected, an innocent girl like her has fallen into the trap. She sobbed loudly, I love you Oppa ah. I really love you, so please. Yung Hyun you know, I just want to protect you, don't want you to get hurt. What I just said was only half sincere. Miss hugged him and refused to let go. His hands were shaking. My sister was the same, I felt the same, yes that's why this was necessary. I want to maintain a good relationship with you. That woman, because I need strength to protect you. He had to let go of her hand, making her hastily hold on. Honey, if it's about that, I can too, maybe. But her voice Father Hira's words suddenly echoed in her mind. Our genius mage lady should learn to suppress her bloodlust a little. Look closely, see what happens to things like this. But if the person you love dares to challenge me, right? Her voice became smaller and smaller, she was aware of the situation. He smiled gently, slowly bent down, caressed his tender cheeks and said, really? Then our Yung Hyun needs to become stronger for your sake, right? Many times stronger than now. She trembled and hugged his pitiful face, thinking about everything in the world. My poor Oppa, poor Lee Ki-young Oppa, for me and my teammates, he had no other choice but to sell himself to that woman. He looked at her reaction and felt chills in his heart. She was thinking of something strange again, but he didn't understand. Why, I have a hunch that it's a good idea. Yeah, I'm really a pitiful person who has no choice but to leave my fiancé and sell myself. How sad unfortunately. Both Lee Ki-young and Yung Hyun lacked the strength to protect each other. And then the two were forced to separate ways. Yung Hyun looked at the back of his loved one as he left and swore to himself that he would return. Become a more useful person to protect both you and yourself. That's exactly what you predicted. But I know what you're worried about. The previous accidents will never happen again, I promise. Yung Hyun, he gradually hugged her waist. They both gave each other a passionate kiss. Yung Hyun was extremely excited and happy being kissed. I just had my first kiss with Oppa, my beloved Yung Hyun. We need to purify him. He has been tainted by that girl. If I am stronger than Cha-hira, then I will become an even stronger person her and protect him. Seeing Yung Hyun's reaction is something he feels is quite worth looking forward to. After realizing his helplessness, Yung Hyun will actively practice from now on onwards to protect her beloved Lee Ki-young from the world's threats, such as Cha-hira taking away the person she loves the most. Then Yung Hyun will be okay with this condition. Decided for a while, now, it was time to go meet his new master. Thinking of doing that night he covered himself with a cloak and approached Father Hira's residence. The person in the door at first looked and recognized him as that guy. Lee Ki-young frankly took off his head covering and asked to see Father Hira. This will be the first step in the plan. I don't know if she will like it but I will wear the necklace she gave me. The only thing left is to see if Father Hira likes the conditions I proposed or not. But damn, what kind of building is this? It's so huge, they're really exploitative guys. As soon as you entered the castle, you were amazed. The space is super wide and the interior is majestic. They don't lie like Blue Guild. Gives me a feeling quite mysterious and like the masters are here. You stand in front of a large room, take a deep breath to reassure yourself, calm down, I have prepared carefully. Asked, is there anyone? Knocked on the door a few times but got no response. Lee Ki-young thought the girl was away. Was about to knock again when boom. Cha-hira blatantly kicked the door and shouted, damn it, I told you to bring the documents yourself, didn't I? This scene made him scream. Father Hira ruffled his hair and cursed loudly, oh my god. I told you not to bother me while I was sleeping, I never would have guessed this kind of opening. Newcomer? Oh you are? Oh we meet again, sorry, maybe you changed your mind? She smiled cheerfully and stretched her arms to answer. He timidly replied, I haven't yet but when. Heard the word yet, she immediately changed her attitude, why haven't you yet? So what do you want? Even I was woken up by you, now I'm talking to her, but I still don't know how to bring her in. She patted his shoulder threateningly, you know, I really hate those bastards go lie to everyone around you and then probe other people's reactions. I'm sure you still haven't let go of your little lover and came here just because you can't forget that hot kiss at that time, right? What exactly is your goal? She moved closer to his face and asked. Father Hira, I can't predict her thoughts, but her personality is straightforward and straightforward. I should try to please her like any other woman. Thinking of this, he made a request. Dear Miss Father Hira, please, become my guardian. It took a while after that for her to react. Again, huh? He scratched his head shyly. Oh my god, I'm afraid to say it again twice. Sponsor, after he finished speaking, he couldn't stop being scared. Please don't refuse. No, 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 it's not important to us wherever you go. Just take each step confidently, Lee Giyoung. Cha Hira suddenly burst into laughter. What does that mean? Sounds fun, follow me. No one has ever talked openly with my mercenary queen before. Honestly, your face is just my type. I kinda hate snake faces, and stiff in his words. After looking at him, he felt chills. It seems friendly, right? Father Hira patted the bed and ordered. Now come sit next to me and act cute. Lee Giyoung listened and froze.